Try this experiment tonight when the house is completely quiet. Walk into your bathroom, turn on the harsh overhead light, and stand directly in front of the mirror. Look straight into your own eyes and completely lock your focus. Do not look at the texture of your hair, do not look at the shape of your jaw, and absolutely do not judge your physical appearance. Just stare dead center into your own pupils and do not break that visual contact for 60 straight seconds. Very quickly, something deeply unsettling will start to happen to your mind. Your face will begin to distort and look completely unfamiliar. The physical features you have seen every single day of your life will suddenly look like they belong to a total stranger standing in your bathroom. You will feel a sudden, sharp disconnect in your chest. An eerie, isolating sensation that the flesh and blood person in the glass is just a biological machine, and you are something else entirely, trapped inside it, looking out through those extremely fragile eyes.
Psychologists have a clinical, comfortable term for this phenomenon. They call it the Troxler effect, or jamais vu, and they will quickly dismiss it by telling you it is just your visual neurons getting exhausted from staring at a fixed point. But if you sit with that feeling, you realize it is infinitely deeper than a simple visual glitch in your cortex. That chilling sensation of not recognizing your own physical face is the grand mask slipping for just a fraction of a second. It is a brief, accidental moment where you stop identifying with the character you are blindly playing, and you realize you are actually the one holding the controller. If that feeling of being an outsider inside your own physical body makes sense to you, you are exactly where you need to be. On this channel, we are not interested in easy answers. We dive deep into the real, sometimes terrifying mechanics of our existence. If you are looking for that kind of depth and want to explore the gears turning behind the curtain of reality, hit the subscribe button right now. Let us talk about the brutal, beautiful game you are currently playing and why you intentionally decided to completely forget the rules. We need to talk about why you are actually here. Not from the sterile perspective of biology and not from the distant perspective of human evolution, but why the distinct consciousness that you call I is experiencing this specific, highly chaotic life right now.
Imagine a video game, but not just any standard piece of software. Imagine the most advanced, fully immersive virtual reality simulation ever created in the history of the universe. A simulation so completely flawless and terrifyingly realistic that it can accurately render the physical sensation of freezing water on your skin, the bitter taste of black coffee, the heavy exhaustion of a long workday, and the sharp, suffocating pain of a broken heart. If you were the original developer of this masterpiece game, and you have absolute, limitless God mode powers, what is the very first thing you do when you turn it on? You spawn into the game with unlimited gold and infinite resources. You make your character completely invincible and untouchable. You bypass all the heavy, tedious grinding. You skip the difficult, frustrating levels, and you go straight to the ultimate rewards. For a few hours, or maybe even a few years in game time, it is absolute perfect paradise. You experience every pleasure imaginable without a single drop of consequence, fear, or physical pain.
But there is a brutal flaw in the fundamental nature of consciousness. It simply cannot survive without friction. If there is absolutely no risk involved, there is no actual game to play. If you know with absolute certainty that your character cannot die and cannot lose, the terrifying monsters in the forest are just boring background noise. The massive victories and the rare achievements start to feel entirely empty and depressing because they cost you absolutely nothing to obtain. Eventually, that perfect, untouchable invincibility becomes a suffocating prison of infinite, crushing boredom. So you naturally start tweaking the parameters of the simulation to make it bearable again. You lower your health bar to make the combat encounters actually mean something. You give yourself a highly difficult starting location.
You completely remove your inherited wealth, and you add unpredictable weather systems that can destroy your progress. You introduce the possibility of disease, of betrayal, and of failure. But even with all those intense challenges added to the code, you still know deep down that it is just a game. You know that if the financial stress or the physical pain gets too difficult to handle, you can simply take off the headset, step away from the machine, and log out. The stakes are not truly real, so the visceral thrill of existence is still missing. To fix this, you implement the ultimate final software update. You code a highly specific feature that forces you to completely wipe your memory the exact millisecond you log into the server. You enter the simulation, the screen goes entirely black, and you wake up crying as a fragile, helpless human being. You completely forget that you are the vast, powerful developer who wrote the code. You forget that the peaceful outside world exists at all. You believe that the game over screen is final, dark, and absolute. You genuinely believe the financial debts are real, the social anxiety in crowded rooms is real, and the ticking clock of your biological timeline is completely solid and unstoppable. The ancient Hindus mapped this exact architecture out thousands of years ago without any technology. They called it Lila, the divine play. It is the profound concept that the universe is a single, infinite consciousness that got completely bored of being perfect, so it shattered itself into billions of limited avatars.
You might think this is just a philosophical metaphor, but modern cognitive science is discovering that your brain literally operates like a computer interface hiding the raw code of the universe. An evolutionary psychologist named Donald Hoffman developed the interface theory of perception, which mathematically proves that the evolutionary chances of humans seeing reality exactly as it is are practically zero. Think about the desktop screen on your computer. You see a blue folder icon in the center of the screen. Is that folder actually blue, and is it actually rectangular? No. The actual reality of that folder is a complex string of ones and zeros, microscopic transistors, and electrical voltages running inside the hardware. If you had to read the raw binary code just to open a simple text document, you would be completely paralyzed. Your operating system hides the overwhelming, incomprehensible truth of the hardware behind a simple, colorful, interactive illusion, so you can actually do your work. Your physical brain does the exact same thing to the universe. Space and time are not fundamental realities. They are simply the graphical user interface of the human avatar. In modern open-world video games, developers have to save computer memory, so they never render the entire map at once. The game engine only actively renders the trees, the shadows, and the enemies exactly where the player's camera is currently looking. The moment you turn around, the world behind you disappears back into mathematical probability.
Quantum physics has been telling us for a century that our universe operates on this exact same terrifying efficiency. In the famous double-slit experiment, subatomic particles exist as a wave of infinite possibilities, completely formless and unrendered, right up until the exact moment a conscious observer measures them. The physical universe literally does not exist in a solid state until you look at it. You are not a passive audience member sitting in a theater watching a movie. Your consciousness is the projector beam that forces the reality to collapse into a physical form. This shatters the biggest scientific assumption of the modern age. For decades, biologists have desperately tried to figure out how a lump of wet meat inside your skull somehow magically generates the profound, vivid experience of human consciousness. This is known as the hard problem of consciousness. But they are failing because they have the equation completely backwards. The philosopher Aldous Huxley proposed that the brain does not produce consciousness at all. It acts as a reducing valve. The fundamental nature of the universe is infinite, overwhelming consciousness. If your brain let all of that information in at once, you would be entirely unable to function in this game. You couldn't run from a predator, and you couldn't focus on finding food or paying bills.
So your brain filters out the cosmic infinity and only lets a tiny, highly restricted trickle of awareness through, just enough to help you survive the physical map. You are not a physical body that somehow randomly developed a soul. You are an infinite antenna picking up a highly restricted, localized frequency.
When you finally understand that your brain is just a biological reducing valve and that physical reality is just a rendered interface, the concept of the self completely collapses. The word person originates from the ancient Latin word persona, which literally translates to the mask worn by an actor on a theatrical stage. We fiercely defend our identities, our political opinions, our past traumas, and our anxieties as if they are solid steel pillars holding up our sanity. But those things are not the real you. They are just the specific stats and backstory generated for the avatar you are currently playing. The profound, terrifying discomfort you felt when looking into the mirror during that experiment was the underlying consciousness, realizing that the face in the glass is just a temporary mask. It is the player suddenly remembering they are holding a controller. When people first stumble upon these heavy concepts, when the thick illusion of the self actually breaks, they usually make a massive, catastrophic mistake. They realize the human avatar is just a biological construct, and they immediately try to escape the game entirely. They desperately want to detach from human society. They try to meditate their way out of the simulation, hoping to project their minds into some ethereal astral plane, desperately trying to build a bridge to another dimension just to avoid the heavy, stressful responsibilities of this one. They start treating human life like it is a dirty, low-vibration mistake they need to clean off their shoes. But that completely, entirely defeats the fundamental purpose of the game. You did not wipe your infinite cosmic memory and plug your consciousness into this highly complex, beautiful, terrifying simulation just to sit quietly in a dark corner with your eyes closed and try to log out early. The ultimate goal of understanding your own consciousness is not to escape to another plane of existence. It is about brutal, practical accessibility right here in the physical dirt. It is about downloading that higher awareness directly into your daily routine. When you deeply internalize that the sharp anxiety, the heavy social pressure, and the terrifying fear of failure are just programmed mechanics of the simulation designed to give you friction, they instantly lose their grip on your throat. You still have to pay your electricity bill at the end of the month. You still have to show up for your responsibilities, build your businesses, and take care of your physical body. You still chop the wood and carry the water. But the deep, internal suffering simply evaporates. You begin to watch the dramatic, chaotic events of your own life unfold with a sense of deep, untouchable amusement. You allow yourself to make mistakes without crushing guilt because you finally understand that the human avatar was always meticulously designed to be beautifully flawed. The exact moment you stop violently fighting the parameters of the game and realize you are the very architect who set them, the entire world shifts. The heavy atmospheric pressure of daily survival drops. You stop furiously trying to control the uncontrollable aspects of the map. You realize you are not a fragile, temporary physical body that somehow miraculously possesses a tiny spark of consciousness. You are a vast, infinite consciousness that is currently operating a physical body for the sheer visceral thrill of the experience. And that completely flips the script on how you will wake up and face tomorrow morning. You are here to experience the sharp contrast. You are here to feel the freezing cold wind so you can actually appreciate the warmth of the fire. You are here to lose so you can understand the absolute, undeniable value of winning. If this long conversation resonated with you today, if it sparked that strange, undeniable feeling of suddenly remembering something you forgot a very long time ago,
you are already waking up. Leave a comment down below and tell me exactly what part of the human game you are going to stop taking so seriously starting today. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Keep exploring the code. Keep questioning the narrative. And I will see you in the next one.